Hello, I'm Susan Kelly, Elementary Language Arts Director. We're going to be looking at two UBDs today, the 5th grade launching unit as well as the 2nd grade launching unit for reading. These are both Unit 1. I want to share with you some changes and revisions that we've made to the UBDs and hope that these changes help you when you're studying your unit plans. The first thing that I want you to notice is that the overview is significantly shorter than the past UBD overviews. The overview has just the basics about what the unit is about. More specific information about the unit is in the learning plan, which I'll share with you later, or sometimes in specific sessions. As a reminder, the launching units for 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade are based on the curriculum book entitled Building a Reading Life, which is in the units of study for teaching reading grades 3 through 5. The mentor texts have been changed for 5th grade. For the first unit in 5th grade, the English text is Almost Home, and the text is referred to here in the overview. And the Spanish mentor text for Unit 1 is Yo Naomi Leon. The mentor texts for 3rd and 4th grade have stayed the same as last year. K1 and 2 don't have specific mentor texts for their first unit, so for Unit 1 at primary grades, teachers will read aloud from just great children's picture storybooks. Here is the 2nd grade overview. Again, it's really short, and it also has references for professional texts that were used to develop the unit. And these texts are certainly available to read to deepen your understanding of the unit. The content specificity in the UBDs is now more tightly aligned to the standards. So you should see the language of the standard in the content specificity. For example, in 5th grade, Standard 9A, read independently for a sustained period of time and summarize or paraphrase what the reading was about, maintaining meaning and logical order, generate a reading log or a journal, participate in book talks, is reflected in the content specificity, really 3 content specificities. Monitor their progress toward meeting reading goals by reflecting on reading log entries. Understanding the importance of reading for a sustained period of time to maintain meaning. Share books with a partner through book talks and meaningful discussion. The Standard 8A, evaluate the impact of sensory details, imagery, and figurative language in literary text, is reflected in the content specificity that says create sensory images as they read. So again, you should find some pretty tight alignment in terms of language between the state standards and the content specificity. In the 2nd grade UBD, the state standard, Figure 19, reading comprehension skills, Figure 19C, reads monitor and adjust comprehension using background knowledge, creating sensory images, rereading a portion out loud, generating questions. And again, that standard is reflected in the content specificity item that says monitor understanding and utilize strategies such as rereading, using background knowledge when reading breaks down. Sometimes we've broken apart a standard that has a lot of pieces and separated it into separate content specificity bullets. You'll find fewer critical vocabulary words in our UBDs, our new UBDs. We're trying to pare down the number of words that should be taught in a unit of study, knowing that language arts is very recursive and that the same words appear over and over and over again, really from the time of kindergarten or 1st grade. So by the time you get to a 5th grade unit, you should find just very, very few words in critical vocabulary. However, if you need to go back and review some language, some academic language with your students, feel free to do that. The enduring understandings for reading are fairly consistent from grade level to grade level, as they're the big ideas for reading. These are the enduring understandings for grade 5. And here are the enduring understandings for 2nd grade Unit 1. Give you a second to read those. And as you can see, they're very similar. The language of the enduring understandings is really for teachers. And again, those are really the big ideas for the content. So you'll find that those stay relatively same from unit to unit and from grade level to grade level. There are some changes from the fiction units to the nonfiction units, but again, they're fairly consistent. Essential questions are aligned from grade level to grade level also. We've changed the language a little bit for younger grades as the questions are, as you know, for students. Great staff development would be to choose one or two of the essential questions and brainstorm possible answers to those questions. It'll give you a great sense for the kinds of things that are being taught in a particular unit of study. And again, the essential questions will look relatively the same from grade level to grade level, unit of study to unit of study. The formative and summative assessments are now in the same column under the assessment plan. We don't have performance tasks in our reading units. That's our next level of work. We hope to put one or two performance tasks, maybe a semester in one or two of the grade levels, but again, that's next level of work. So for now, we have lots and lots of formative assessments for you to choose from. And you'll find the summative assessments just underneath the formative assessment, so that'll look just a little bit different than last year. A really nice new formative assessment that I hope you take advantage of is the student engagement inventory. It's perfect for measuring student engagement at a glance in your classroom, and the assessment looks like what you're seeing on the screen here. There are some questions to ask yourself when you're thinking about using the inventory, and the way to use it is to record your students' names, of course, on the inventory itself, and you observe your class in 10-minute increments, and you have a kind of a shorthand that you use. I'll scroll down here so you can see that. So a check mark would be engaged. P might mean writing on a post-it. T means looking at the teacher. NF means not focused. FR, fake reading. You might have, one or two other little shorthand initials that you want to use. Maybe staring into space is SS, something like that. But it's a really great inventory, and you can pinpoint specific students that are having difficulty getting into the reading, staying engaged in the reading, etc. So this is a new little formative assessment, and again, hope you take advantage of it. In the learning plan, we have provided some new information for you. We've given you some really nice information about think alouds during your read aloud time. And so you'll find information about what the teacher does during a read aloud, which might be to think out loud, stop and think out loud, or stop and jot in front of students, or what the student engagement pieces look like. So you might stop and ask kids to turn and talk. We're used to doing that. Stop and jot, stop and act, stop and sketch. So those are all ways to make sure that kids are actively engaged in your interactive read aloud. In addition, we've given you some language for the reading skills and strategies that you might be focusing on. So for instance, if you're focusing on monitoring for meaning, your teacher language is here in the ways we preface think alouds during the read aloud. So there's some specific teacher language there. And then ways that we prompt students to talk or to think or to act or to write on a post-it during a read aloud. You wouldn't probably teach all of these reading skills in one unit. Generally, there are 2 or 3 skills that are highlighted in the reading units, but there's language for monitoring, envisioning, accumulating the text, predicting, inferring, synthesizing, etc. So we hope that this helps you with the specificity of the language that you use during your interactive read aloud. Second grade has a similar guide in their learning plan, not quite as extensive. So there's a lot to study in the learning plan prior to looking at the actual sessions. I hope today's look at UBD revisions in reading will help you again deepen your understanding about the reading units and help you in your plans.